Welcome to World Business. Now, how wealthy do you feel? New research by banking giant HSBC in the UK has revealed that 90% of people earning a six-figure salary do not consider themselves wealthy, despite actually being in the top 4% of earners. Well, on average, the 2,000 people surveyed felt that £213,000 a year was the minimum figure to be considered wealthy, a sum that is 6 times the average salary. Well, all this data is contained within a new report by HSBC called Your Money's Worth, Defining Wealth in 2025. Let's get more on this now by speaking to the man in charge, Managing Director and Head of Premier Wealth and Solutions at HSBC UK, Mr. Xian Chan. Mr. Chan, many thanks for joining us on World Business. Very interesting research. What was the reason for doing it? And give us a sense of what you feel are the most important findings.
Well, thank you for having me, first of all. It is indeed a really interesting piece of research. The reason we wanted to do this, first of all, was because we wanted to define what wealth means in 2025. And interestingly, the number in terms of what people deem to be wealthy is you have to be earning at least £213,000 in the UK. So it is actually quite a big number. And the even more interesting thing is, if you actually look at the high earning population, so we interviewed people who earn over £100,000 per year in the UK, and that puts you in the country in the top 4% of earners. But almost 80% of this population actually don't believe that they are wealthy. So it's incredibly fascinating. I mean, the other interesting thing here is, the one reason for this gap in the perception is potentially because of lifestyle inflation. So the data that we have seen, including from our clients, is that the more you earn or the richer you are, the more you tend to spend. And now that I said it, it probably sounds commonsensical. But the data that we have suggests that actually things like, the latest gadget, the newest phone, or newer clothes, these are the things that actually add up, including lifestyle and lifestyle experiences, the extra holiday, and so on and so forth. So one of the things that we found is this perception gap in part is driven by the other part of the equation, is not only how much you earn, but how much you spend. And this is one big reason why people don't feel as wealthy as they do. The other point, which was interesting out of this, is depending on the age brackets of the people in the country, they do have different perceptions about what wealth is. So if you look at the so-called millennial generation, so we define as the ages of 36 to 44, as much as 1/3 of this population actually believe that wealth is not only about financial wealth, it means other things as well, including, for example, work-life balance, the freedom and ability to work where they want to, health, travel, and so on and so forth. And this actually goes up if you look at the so-called Gen Z generation below the age of 36. It actually, the population actually goes up to, as much as half of this group believe that is indeed the case. So really, really fascinating conclusions, but perhaps the most interesting one is there's this so-called wealth paradox where rich people just don't feel as rich as they actually are.
Very interesting, the wealth paradox, lifestyle inflation. And of course, it seems that people earning a six-figure salary, which was once a status symbol, no longer feel wealthy, and in fact often struggle, often feel squeezed.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, the cost of living has increased in many parts of the world, and in the UK especially. The way I think about this is there are things which, are harder to control. So the example I like to give is, many high earners typically have busy careers. And in order to make things work, you have to pay for childcare, and that can be quite costly. If you live in a place like London, a city like London, housing costs, especially if you've got a family and you need a bigger home, the costs are quite significant, and they've continued to go up year on year. And then you've got some of the discretionary costs as well. And these are the ones where, perhaps a call to action might be to people who are earning over 100,000, or for that matter, regardless of what you earn, is to really think twice. Do you need that extra holiday? Or do you need that extra home in your property portfolio, which is typically fueled by debt? And our research and the observations we've seen in our clients is, purchasing the extra property or going on that extra holiday. These are some of the top topics and the top aspirations that our wealthier clients, do feel. But the cost of living point is valid across the piece, and we do offer a variety of solutions, not only for, customers or clients who earn over 100,000 a year, but, for clients and customers who earn a lot less than that. We do have, the ability to support you in your investment goals, whether that's just investing 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 pounds a month. And if you're struggling, we've got highly trained teams who are there to support you in that as well.
So what do wealthy customers actually want then? I presume the thinking has now moved on from a fountain in reception or a shiny gold credit card.
Yeah, so look, some of the things, still are important to some of our clients. You made the comment about the nice fountain and the nice colored cards. We do have those. But, I think the key thing here really is about knowing our clients and knowing what they want, because no client is the same. That is just a fact. We will have segments of our customers, particularly the higher earners, who will perhaps have more complex needs, and we have a group of financial advisors who are well placed to support them in their journey, particularly if they're premier clients here in the UK. And then you will have segments of clients, particularly the younger generation. But not only that, even more affluent clients sometimes just prefer the freedom to transact in their investments from the palm of their hand, whether they're in their car, if they've been driven, not while they're driving, or on the tube or on the bus, or in the coffee shop. And, that's what we call the self-directed journeys, where they want the ability just to transact digitally on their own terms. So the key thing for institutions like ourselves, and what we've been trying to do, is to make sure that we've got the suite of capabilities across our digital channel. If you want to buy an investment or sell an investment from your app and look at your portfolio, we've got that ability. So if you want a more detailed discussion where we'll bring an advisor into your home to have an in-depth discussion about your financial situation, to see what we can do, bringing the full breadth of HSBC's capabilities to you.
Mr. Chan, very interesting indeed. Thank you very much for speaking to us on World Business. Now, let's travel almost 8,000 kilometres from London to Kabul, capital of Afghanistan, where A News correspondent Tamim Bahis reports now on the central bank's plea to increase funding to support entrepreneurs across the country.
Guy, the acting head of the central bank here in Afghanistan, Noor Ahmadabad, met with UNAMA chief Rosa Atunbayeva to discuss the need for increased small-scale financial funding. Ava reaffirmed the bank's commitment to expanding financial support across the country, while Atunbayeva stressed the role of such funding in economic growth and business development. Afghanistan's financial sector has been struggling since 2021, with the near collapse of microfinance institutions severely impacting small businesses, particularly those run by women. However, efforts are underway to restore services and boost economic inclusion. In 2024, the UNDP reported that it has supported approximately 75,000 women-led micro and small businesses since 2021. These efforts are part of broader initiatives like the Abadai program, launched in partnership with the European Union, aimed at safeguarding women's livelihoods and supporting women-led businesses in Afghanistan. Despite these efforts, a World Bank survey released in March 2024 highlights ongoing challenges. 1/3 of Afghan businesses are operating below capacity, while 8% mostly women-owned, have shut down. Employment remains significantly lower than in 2021, with 50% businesses no longer employing women. In response, the World Bank has launched a $16 million grant to support micro and small enterprises, prioritizing women-led businesses. Additionally, Sharia-compliant financing options have been introduced to align with Afghanistan's banking regulations. Yet, major obstacles remain. Over 60% of businesses report unresolved issues despite engagement with the Taliban administration. Banking restrictions continue to limit transactions, forcing businesses to rely on informal, cash-based systems. As Afghanistan's economy struggles to recover, international financial support and reforms will be key to stabilizing the private sector. Tamim Bahiz, A News from Kabul, Afghanistan.
Thanks, Tamim. Tamim Bahis there reporting from Kabul. Well, every week, the world's biggest businesses report on their financial performance. Katie Wilson is in the newsroom now with her pick of the results this week.
German car part supplier Continental AG is getting ready to release its preliminary full-year results for 2024. It comes after their Conti Tech division announced the closure of 4 plants and the downsizing of 2 others. The group has been eyeing more than 7,000 job cuts under a restructuring plan, aiming to save €400 million a year from 2025. Automotive companies across Europe have announced plant closures and big layoffs as they struggle with weak demand, high costs, competition from China, and a slower than expected transition to electric vehicles. But it isn't just automotive companies that are impacted by the weak demand for EVs and competition from China. Germany's top chemical maker, BASF, who produces materials for EV batteries, reported a drop in its annual earnings below estimates. According to preliminary figures, their 2024 earnings before interest and taxes fell to €2 billion, which falls below the 2023 figure. However, things are looking sweeter for Swiss chocolatier and confectionery company Schokoladefabriken Lindt & Sprüngli, who will be releasing their full-year results for 2024 next month. The company has already reported 7.8% organic growth for 2024, which is a sign that record high cocoa prices haven't deterred shoppers from treating themselves to chocolate bunnies, pralines and Lindor truffles. Stock market analyst Jean-Philippe Berchi says Lindt is very well positioned to navigate 2025, which will be a very challenging year for the chocolate industry.
Thanks, Katie. Well, that is all we have time for on this edition of the show. Thanks for watching. Please do check out anews.tv and our social media channels for all your latest business news. And do join us again next week for more World Business.